My regular Monday night chat on all the issues generated by you happens with my good friend Alan Jones, and he joins me now from Sydney. I want to talk about borders.
You've been shopping. You've been shopping.
Why on earth would you say that? Why on earth would you say that?
I haven't seen that outfit before.
No, I just went digging down the back of my wardrobe. As you know, most women do. We pull it out. It's got the tag on. We tell our husbands, "Oh, this I've had it for ages."
I'll ask you a question before you ask me. Have you been able to move around? Do you have a feeling of the fact that it's opened up?
Yeah, look, it does. It really only felt that way, Alan, in the last fortnight since we could open up into regional Victoria. I think that's been the change in Melbourne. Restaurants and bars are slowly opening up. They're not all open. Lots of them are still closed. Lots of retail still closed, but it certainly feels light years away than where we were a fortnight or so ago. And more to come, but we'll see where we get to. I want to go to one of my viewers because they like to send in questions for us to talk about. This is Peter Williams. He's concerned. He wants to know when we're going to become one Australia again. And, pressure on the PM here to put the state and territories jigsaw puzzle together. Now, you and I have both been critical. We weren't fooled by this idea of national cabinet.
No.
It sounds terrific, but we pay on results, and it hasn't done much in terms of fixing these issues.
Not a thing. I mean, they've just gone their own way. And it seems to be institutionalised. You get the impression that this thing's going to go on forever. But they've all gone their own ways. Way back, Scott Morrison said the kids should be at school. Well, the state premiers pleased themselves. Then he said it shouldn't be at the borders, should be open. Mind you, he doesn't have too much credibility for that argument when he closes the international borders. We should be free to move in and out of the country as we see fit, and we can look after our own health. But I don't think it's worked at all, and I think he's been played off a break. But what really is annoying a lot of people is the indulgence that is exercised and demonstrated towards Daniel Andrews. I mean, this is costing the taxpayer a fortune. Billions of dollars have been poured into Victoria at the expense and detriment of other states. And he's never stood up, and he hasn't stood up about Black Lives Matters. You just can't get Scott to make a decision on the tough ones where he's going to have an argument with someone. He seems to want to pretend that he wants to be happy and on side with everybody. Well, that's not leadership, that's following.
As my dad would say, sometimes you have to break an egg to make an omelette, and he has to have a blue with these premiers.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. On the money issue in particular, JobKeeper and JobSeeker, and force their political hand because they're not bearing any of the economic consequences. We get Victoria's budget tomorrow. It will be a sea of red ink, but we'll talk about that tomorrow night.
But why wouldn't the Prime Minister have said about Marshall, forget he's a Liberal, I mean, he's a pretty ordinary Liberal, he'd struggle to get a job in the private sector, to say last week, hang on, what's going on here? I'm the Prime Minister, this is absurd. We're actually closing a whole state down with a handful of people with coronavirus and a whole heap of people who have never seen coronavirus. No, I mean, this nation needs national leadership now more than ever before.
I couldn't agree more, and I was critical. I was critical again tonight of Stephen Marshall. I thought it was absolutely the wrong thing to do. Absolutely the wrong thing to do. My next viewer, Wayne Talbot, wants to know, why has Andrews lied again? We were supposed to go to COVID normal when we reached 28 days of no new infections. Well, this is the point. All of these rules tend to move. The only one who seems rock solid is Gladys Berejiklian.
Well, it's a simple question but easily answered, isn't it? Why does Andrews get away with it? It's like the kid at the dining room table who puts his knife in his mouth. He'll get away with it if the parents don't stop him. Andrews gets away with this because no one stops him. It's as simple as that. Where is someone today in leadership position? And that's not you and I, our responsibility. The media aren't here to determine this. We can only alert people to the dishonesty and hypocrisy of it all. This bloke made a commitment. As I might add, did Anastasia Palaszczuk made the commitment as well. Same in New South Wales. The borders would open to people in Sydney if you had 28 days. I don't know where this 28 days comes from, I might add. They just make these numbers up. But Andrews has yet again pleased himself. There's something wrong with this bloke. He just wants control over everybody. I don't think some of these people will ever let control go. They've taken freedoms from people and they bit by bit drips them back, but they're still saying, oh, well, this lovely bit in New South Wales where, I mean, I can't even remember. You can go somewhere, but you have to be 1.5 metres apart if you're sitting on chairs. But if you're not sitting on chairs, you're sitting on a rug, you've got to be 4 metres apart. Where does this come from? I can't believe
Yeah, there's no modelling, there's no detail out with this. It's assertions by unelected health bureaucrats, and our politicians that we elect are rolling over left, right and centre. I don't know.
Yeah, but the question, the substance of your question is valid. I mean, Andrews, it's no use using fancy words. Andrews has lied to the people of Victoria. He nominated the 28 days. He did it months ago. He thought he was safe because he'd be in control forever and a day. Well, now he's trying to pretend that he has stopped, the government has stopped coronavirus. Governments can't stop a virus.
He's only partially cleaning up his own mess. You and I know that. Let's not let people forget. Alan Jones, got to leave it there. As always, I'd love to have you on the show.
Okay, bye-bye.
Can't wait. All right.